There's a force, unseen yet undeniable. It flows through us, around us. It whispers in the quietest moments. It roars in the face of despair. This force, the Holy Spirit, has the power to change everything. It can breathe life into the lifeless. It can spark faith in the darkest hearts. And in a small Nigerian village, in the heat of 1998, this force made itself known. Umuofia was a village like many others, nestled in the heart of Nigeria. Surrounded by rolling hills and dense forests, it was a place where the land itself seemed to breathe with life. The village was a patchwork of mud brick homes with thatched roofs, each one carefully built by hand, standing as a testament to the strength and unity of its people. The air was always fresh, tinged with the scent of earth after the rain, and the sounds of birds and distant laughter echoed through the trees. Life was simple, a tapestry woven with hard work and faith. Each day, men and women rose before dawn, their hands calloused from years of tending to the yam fields, weaving baskets, and drawing water from the clear streams that wound their way through the village. Children played nearby, their laughter mingling with the rhythmic sounds of hoes striking the earth. The elders, wise and respected, shared stories and advice, passing down traditions that had shaped Umuofia for generations. Faith was at the center of everything. Before meals, before work, and before sleep, prayers were whispered, asking for strength, rain, and protection. Days began with the rising sun, its golden rays spilling over the rooftops and waking the village to a new day of promise. The morning air was filled with the sounds of roosters crowing and mothers calling their children. As the day unfolded, the village buzzed with activity. Fields were tilled, meals prepared, and stories exchanged. When evening came, families gathered around crackling fires, listening intently as elders recounted tales of ancestors, heroes, and the lessons of the past. Under a sky dusted with stars, the worries of the day faded, replaced by a sense of belonging and hope for tomorrow. Laughter echoed through the red dirt roads, where children chased each other in spirited games, their feet kicking up clouds of dust. Women gathered around open fires, their hands skillfully preparing meals that brought the community together. The aroma of freshly cooked jollof rice, rich with spices and vegetables, drifted through the air, drawing everyone to the communal table. Meals were more than just food. They were moments of connection, where stories were shared and bonds were strengthened. Evenings were filled with music, singing, and the gentle hum of conversation as the village celebrated the simple joys of life. The villagers, though not wealthy by the world's standards, were rich in spirit. Their lives were deeply rooted in their belief in a God who saw them, heard them, and loved them unconditionally. Faith was the heartbeat of Umuofia, guiding every decision and offering comfort in times of hardship. In moments of joy and sorrow, the community came together, praying, singing, and supporting one another. It was this unshakable faith and the love they shared that made life in Umuofia truly extraordinary, a place where every day was a gift and every person was family. But on one scorching afternoon, the air grew heavy with sorrow. A child, young Emeka, full of life and mischief, was involved in a terrible accident. He had been playing by the river, his laughter carrying on the breeze, when tragedy struck. The villagers found him lying still, his eyes closed. The village elder, his own heart breaking, checked for a pulse, but there was none. Emeka was gone. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the grief-stricken village, something extraordinary happened. A sudden wind swept through Umuofia, rustling the leaves of the mango trees and whipping the villagers' clothes. It was a wind unlike any they had felt before, powerful, yet strangely calming. With it came a whisper, soft at first, then growing louder, echoing through the village square where Emeka lay. Emeka's mother, her face stained with tears, clung to her son's lifeless hand. Her heart was shattered, yet in that moment, amidst the wind and the whispers, a flicker of hope ignited within her. She cried out to God, a desperate plea torn from the depths of her soul. She begged for a miracle, for her son's life. And then, silence. The wind died down, the whispers ceased, and in the stillness, a miracle unfolded. Emeka's chest, which had been still and lifeless just moments before, suddenly began to move. The gentle rise and fall of his chest was unmistakable, a sign of breath, of life returning where none was expected. In the dim light of the rural hut, the air seemed to shift, as if the very atmosphere was holding its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The silence was heavy, broken only by the faint sound of Emeka inhaling, his body slowly coming back to itself. For those gathered around, it was as if time itself had paused, allowing them to witness something extraordinary. His eyelids, which had been closed in what everyone believed was death, began to flutter. Slowly, almost hesitantly, they opened, revealing eyes that were not dull or vacant, but bright and alert. Emeka's gaze swept the room, confusion and wonder mingling in his expression. It was as if he was seeing the world anew, each detail sharper and more vivid than before. The light caught in his eyes, reflecting a spark of vitality that no one present could deny. In that moment, Emeka was not just alive, he was transformed. The villagers, who had gathered to mourn, now stood frozen in shock. Gasps and cries of disbelief rippled through the crowd. Faces that had been etched with grief were now wide-eyed with amazement and fear. Some covered their mouths, others reached out as if to touch Emeka, to confirm with their own hands that he was truly alive. The air was thick with emotion, relief, joy, and a deep, unspoken awe. For these villagers, what they were witnessing defied everything they thought they knew about life and death. The village elder, a man respected for his wisdom and experience, had been the one to declare Emeka dead. Now, with trembling hands, he rushed to Emeka's side, unable to believe his own eyes. Kneeling beside the young man, the elder pressed his fingers to Emeka's wrist, searching for a pulse. This time, he found it, strong, steady, undeniable. The elder's hands shook, not from age, but from the overwhelming realization that something miraculous had occurred. He looked up at the others, his voice barely a whisper. He lives. In the nearby clinic, the local nurse and doctor could offer no explanation. The medical equipment, unused and silent, seemed almost irrelevant in the face of what had happened. There were no scientific answers, no logical reasons for Emeka's return. The professionals were left puzzled, their training and knowledge unable to account for the impossible event that had just unfolded. In this remote village, the boundaries between science and the unknown had blurred, leaving only questions. Emeka, who had been pronounced dead and mourned by his community, had been brought back to life before their very eyes. The story of his return would be told and retold, a tale that would echo through the village for generations. It was a moment that challenged belief, a mystery that went beyond medical explanation, a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary events happen when we least expect them. News of Emeka's resurrection spread like wildfire. People from neighboring villages, even those who had never set foot in a church, flocked to Umuofia. They came seeking answers, seeking hope, seeking a touch of the miracle they had heard so much about. And they weren't disappointed. The atmosphere in Umuofia had changed. The air crackled with faith. The villagers, once bound by grief, were now united in joy and gratitude. Was it the wind, a mother's love? Or was it something more? Was it the unseen force, the Holy Spirit, breathing life back into Emeka? There are those who would call it coincidence, a medical anomaly. But the villagers of Umuofia knew in their hearts that what they had witnessed was nothing short of a miracle. They had felt the wind, they had heard the whispers, and they had seen with their own eyes the impossible become possible. The miracle of Umuofia serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring mystery of faith. In the quiet moments before dawn, as the first rays of sunlight gently touch the rooftops of the village, there is a sense of anticipation, a feeling that something extraordinary is always possible, even in the most ordinary of places. The villagers gather together, united by a shared hope, their voices rising in prayer as the world awakens around them. It is in these moments, when the air is thick with expectation and the heart is open to wonder, that the true power of faith reveals itself. Faith, after all, is not just a word or a ritual. It is a living force woven into the fabric of daily life. It speaks to the power of belief, the audacity of hope. When the villagers of Umuofia come together, their hands clasped tightly in prayer, their eyes lifted to the heavens, they are not simply asking for miracles, they are daring to believe that miracles are possible. Their hope is not naive, it is courageous. It is the kind of hope that persists even when the world offers no guarantees, the kind that endures through hardship and uncertainty. And it leaves us with a question. Do we believe in the impossible? Do we allow ourselves to imagine that, beyond the limits of what we can see and touch, there are forces at work that defy explanation? The villagers, standing at the edge of their fields as storm clouds gather, or huddled around a fire as night falls, are confronted daily by challenges that seem insurmountable. Yet, time and again, they choose to believe. They choose to trust in something greater than themselves, something that cannot be measured or contained. Do we believe in miracles? Not just the grand, headline-making events, but the quiet, everyday miracles that unfold in the lives of ordinary people. The sudden clearing of storm clouds after a night of fear, the unexpected healing of a loved one, the strength to carry on when hope seems lost. These moments, though small, are no less miraculous. They remind us that the extraordinary often hides within the ordinary, waiting to be discovered by those who are willing to look with eyes of faith. Perhaps the answer lies not in finding definitive proof, but in opening our hearts to the possibility that the unseen force, the Holy Spirit, is still moving stones, still shifting the burdens that weigh us down. In the gentle lifting of a stone, in the whisper of the wind through tall grass, there is a quiet assurance that we are not alone. The Spirit moves in ways we cannot always understand, guiding, comforting, and inspiring us to keep believing, even when the path ahead is uncertain. The Holy Spirit is still breathing life into the lifeless, bringing hope where there was despair, and renewal where there was exhaustion. In the sprouting of new plants from dry, cracked earth, we see the promise of new beginnings. In the caring hands of villagers reviving a fainted neighbor, we witness compassion in action, a living testament to the power of love and community. These are the miracles that sustain us, the quiet wonders that remind us of the sacredness of life. And so, the mystery endures. The Holy Spirit is still whispering hope into the darkest corners of our world, illuminating faces with unexpected joy, and filling hearts with the courage to dream. In every sunrise, in every act of kindness, in every moment of faith, the miracle continues. The story of Umuofia is not just a tale from the past. It is an invitation to believe, to hope, and to embrace the enduring mystery that surrounds us all.